get it on.
And we're back into our second map of the finals in the 2026 Asian Games Esports Qualifiers, PUBG Mobile, the Asian Games version. That's a mouthful, I know, but for today. But for Shako, he's cooking up another nade. He might toss a perfectly on top of Voki if they're not being careful. Iftar has been cornered to one single spot here with that Molotov. But what can Voki do at this point?
They just really have to hold back. It's actually good news for Team Malaysia with more involvement coming in from both Saudi Arabia as well as Vietnam. I mean, all along, Malaysia has spotted out the initial traits coming in from the side of Saudi Arabia, which is where they kind of lost one member initially. And then, of course, Brunei tags in. And suddenly it becomes a party in the boatyard. So this Watertown, I don't know, might just have a little bit more of a huge swing coming in from the rest of the party, though. Meanwhile, it's going to be Voki now, opening a little bit of a tax, but it is going to be Chewy wrapping things around. Only down to Iftar right now to salvage the situation. And it doesn't seem like he's got much time or even space to do so.
Well, Team Vietnam tried to be the housekeeping team. Yep, they've managed to take down now. Brunei's in trouble as well. They are in the same boat as Team Malaysia. This team's coming in as a third party. And unfortunately, I mentioned about their fourth team. It seems to be Team Saudi Arabia watching from afar, taking and stealing those points from the hands of Team Brunei. Unfortunately, all the effort went down in the drain after such a long fight between these two teams. Just be stolen by another different party entirely from the sidelines. Back to the side of Team Malaysia. Iftar 1v3. He couldn't hold the line, but back to his side. Team Brunei is not out of the woods yet. Team Vietnam still watching them closely behind, but Team Saudi Arabia, the only reason why they're not butting into this business is because now they're quite busy with Team Indonesia, who just arrived.
Yeah, it is just clashes upon clashes. Meanwhile, take a look at what's happening around Pochinki. There is a couple of teams who are going to be surrounding the urban estate. Meanwhile, Bowes, beautiful lob. That toss was absolutely golden. But can he actually finish off newbies? Does seem like it needs a little bit more work. Shaco now holding down the line, but a couple of all these stray tags are coming in from Saudi Arabia yet again. So this has been the gridlock. Brunei, they have definitely muscled it out with those 4 points now being gained, or should I just say 2 for the current point in time. It is still rather difficult. I mean, they don't really have those visuals up against the rest of Vietnam, which is where they are forced to just hold on for a little longer, and that is the zone shifting onto the outskirts. So it will still be the continuation between these parties involved.
I'm looking at the northern side fight once more. Team Brunei, they might get surrounded by Team Vietnam. Tops, on the other hand, coming up from Vietnam side, he's scouting for the rest of the team, while the other three is quite busy themselves with Team Brunei, while Marth is doing scouting work on that side as well. They're waiting for time just to intercept between these two teams to steal away their points from afar as a third party. But for Team Brunei, unfortunately, they are stuck in that compound for a bit more longer. While we do have a new team arriving, that's going to be Team Nepal. This is going to be the teams coming up from the abandoned school area towards this side of the circle. But Team Nepal repositioning themselves to engage against our previous chicken dinner team, Uzbekistan.
Yeah, so far, Team Uzbekistan, all they really have to do is just to consistently add 5 points to make things really difficult for the rest of the party. Meanwhile, SadeCloud has got an IQ. It really feels like it was a rematch after all, because it was IQ that dented the hopes of Team Myanmar on the previous round. But we won't be seeing too much of a glimpse of what really transpired. It is going to be a quick save coming in from Falak. And take a look at that. Thailand really close to them at the same time. Not going to be any further commitment coming in from Team Pakistan, as they're holding on to the ridges in between Pochinki as well as the abandoned school alley. Over onto the side of Vietnam, they've left the water town. Back into Rozok they go. And this is where it is just a tough navigation for the likes of Manny.
Now, Team Vietnam, they split themselves into 2-2 formation. Same goes for Team Nepal. Surprisingly, they're both using the same strategy here. So that's why they're being a bit more careful, just trying to bait each other out. The moment they pull over and try to engage, both teams will react instantly. Taking 2 versus 2 situation between Nepal and Team Vietnam. While the other 2 members of Team Vietnam still keeping tabs on Team Brunei around the water town on the north. But when it comes to teams coming up from the south, it's been quiet for a bit here. But they're all waiting for the next stage to commence, which can be less than 25 seconds on the clock. The side of Team Indonesia, it has not been a lot of actions coming up from their end as well. But they got plenty of information regarding all the other teams' rotation from this vintage view of a rooftop. They're spotting out Saudi Arabia, Jordan, possibly even heard some rotation from Team Pakistan itself as well.
Yeah, I really do like the angle that he's holding, but it is very, very dangerous though. Heiko, also known as Yummy, he likes to also tread the fine lines overall, but Indonesia, they are definitely in the need for points because back in round 1, they didn't really get all too much. Now, they are not entirely in the clear with that 2-2 split going on. They need to find an entry into the zone, and they've tried to deal with Saudi Arabia. They could not crack the code just yet. Overall, the R8 boys, they are definitely looking rather invincible for the time being, but maybe not for too long. The rest of Myanmar, though, holding over on to the monastery of Pochinki. And this is where they get to overlook the entire squad of Hong Kong, China from afar. And this is a perfect opportunity.
What a good tap. That bullet drop. Manet definitely knows what he's doing here. Unfortunately, the Blues don't arrive. Here comes Ekla going in for the rush towards Team Hong Kong China, taking a bit of a courage just to go for the rush. Mankey in trouble. Ekla going this against the entirety of Hong Kong China by himself. Well, the rest of Team Myanmar is nowhere to help him yet. He's going in solo and Rambo himself into this compound, but he still survived somehow. Back to the side of Xiao Jia, he managed to secure this point, but unfortunately, at the same time, we do have a fight for Team Uzbekistan. Team Myanmar got eliminated. Same goes for Team Hong Kong China. This is too fast.
This is way too fast. They're just canceling each other out, and of course, Malaysia also was the first one to bite the dust very early on. I'm just really surprised how well Hong Kong, China as a region traded in that duel. It's just sad that there was no time for Mankey to even heal up by the end of it all. Now, going back towards the side of Team Uzbekistan, they dive into the direct center. This is where you see them fighting for those trenches. Meanwhile, Heiko finally shows up and he takes down ID as well as Marv.
This is going to be Snape rotating to his off angle, hoping to find an opening to his Team Jordan, while Team Vietnam, they try to get those elevation. If they can actually scout last player of Uzbekistan, Bad Boy, I think everybody knows there'll be somebody there since there's a vehicle parked in the middle of an open field, which seems to be a bit weird. And that's why Nepal is pulling over. Same goes for Team Jordan, but Bad Boy, at least he got himself some hand grenades as well as those throwables, especially those smokes, in case he needs to find an exit out. Back to his Team Pakistan for luck now, but there are more members. Schweppes! There was a huge net, but wait a second! That turned party out of nowhere across downtown. Team Nepal, what a steal!
That was such a sharp tag coming from T24OP. That is just a tiny little pixel, and he still got it. Meanwhile, we continue on. Team Pakistan feeling really good about this scenario. They have those compounds to hold out, but we get ourselves a little bit of an update. Vietnam still by the boatyard, cheering it together with Brunei Darussalam that has been holding on for a very long time. Indonesia now finally gets over onto the west wing. There is that split going on. They are looking to eventually rock up against Jordan. Meanwhile, Delta getting invaded, but can he find a trade up against the rest of Vietnam?
He only got himself DBS, but it will do so much work for him. Unfortunately, it's going to be win with a mini 14. Both going for the CQC. The rest of Team Nepal will go for the Richard, or will they still go for the challenge, though? But we do have Uzbek last player still dead alive. On the side of Team Vietnam, there's going to be a huge haul of eliminations. They just caught themselves here with 7 points in total. Unfortunately, Team Nepal, they ended up with more than a chicken, 11 eliminations. But still, sorry, it's just 4 eliminations, 11 points right now. But at least they got themselves some ranking points in the process too. But back towards the open field around the outskirts of the school, we do have last player of Uzbekistan. Bad boy lasted here for a long time. Surprisingly, nobody tried to check this area here right now, but he's been surrounded by Team Pakistan at the back. And speaking of another Team Jordan fighting against Team Indonesia on the southern side, well, I think Team Pakistan, Falak, his eyes is super sharp.
That's right. I mean, overall, they've been able to mark their rotation, and that's the reason why you see Team Uzbekistan, they lost so many members from the get-go, and there's just no escaping from the wrath of what is being offered from the side of Pakistan. Meanwhile, Ragnarok and the rest of the Jordanian side has been able to double down, looking for that shred. Meanwhile, Zeus finally find the mark, and they're looking for point number 4 against Pakistan.
Well, this is going to be another big battle between the top contenders. All eyes locked between Team Vietnam versus Pakistan right now. Both having a 4-player, full squad versus full squad, with both teams having almost similar amount of eliminations as well. But when it comes to position-wise, Team Pakistan, at least they have a little bit of barricade with the terrain here. But at the same time, they can actually give a bit of room for them to scout out the rest of Team Jordan. So that barricading between those small hills actually will separate them between them and Vietnam for the time being. And hence they know if Vietnam firepower is something that they should not challenge yet. I feel like they want to go to a Team Jordan for the fight here right now.
Does really feel like it's going to be the case, but they also need to respect a little bit more of that space. I think so far it's been working well for Falak and the rest of Pakistan to play from long range. So until they actually get a couple of all these knocks, then they can actually follow suit. But take a look at this. Both Vietnam as well as Brunei, they've been neighboring each other for a very long time now. And by the end of stage 6, I believe both sides will be forced to go deeper into the zone, which may force Brunei to take a fight that they did not want to at this moment. Unless if it goes north, then they could just basically be happy about partying by the yacht. But there's no yacht inside, of course. So just like I said, this is going to be a forced situation coming in from the Southeast Asians over the north. Indonesia also loses their spot. Wouldn't be taking too much for Pakistan to also join into the zone.
What a nade win! That was straight in the face of Chaco. It was just taking a small pick in a second, but what a perfect world time on the side of Team Vietnam. Now, despite they were taking a long time at a stalemate between them and Brunei, the tension's broken as Chaco still blitz out. Newbie tried to do some damage control, but coming up from the back line, Team Pakistan might take advantage of this and worst case scenario. Team Brunei, they're being closed in by the blue zone at the same time, and Vietnam both taking action as well, but they're separating their focus here for Team Brunei. They have to focus on Team Vietnam and Team Indonesia at the same time.
Oh boy, Chewy's running out of space. Bo has marked him for so long. And there we have it. Big nades flung right towards the side of Brunei. And the blue zone's closing through. There's just no reprieve whatsoever. Falak now aiming down onto those members of the side of Indonesia. As we see the entire lobby erupting right now. And the Jordanian side soaks in another big nade. This time, it's from Pakistan's Huzaifa.
Huzaifa! I always know when to open the biggest door for the team. Pakistan, of course, but looking back to as Ragnarok is actually playing here. But on the side of Ragnarok, what can he do? They are pretty much in the lower ground compared to the other teams. They're playing around the great area. There's going to be Indonesian as well, but Vietnam, they're tossing a huge nade to the side of Indonesian as well. When going in for the push, coming in with an AUG, randomly spray in the midst of the smoke, hoping it will somehow connect. But Haikal is is not making it easy. Win still winning over this side, but Vietnam, there's no stopping between Pakistan and Vietnam. When it comes to elimination, they tally up together at the same time. 7-4 each, but here comes Snake, Ozil Hug, Falak, here, there, and for 1-6 for now, Vietnam. What a casual swing coming out from Falak just now.
And there's going to be a whole lot more Falak. He's going to aim down onto more of these members of Indonesia. An instant attack right into the vehicle. And there we go. He's looking for a little bit more. Falak, he gets it done for Pakistan to celebrate this massive chicken dinner.
You know what? Despite their performance yesterday, this is actually their first ever chicken dinner in the Asian Games Qualifier. Now, it's no surprise if they can make it through the main event, which is going to be the 20th Asian